What will happen in the next 11 years? For one, we'll have at least 2 more US presidents. We will most likely put a man on Mars. About 1.5 million people will be born, and about 627 million people will die. And perhaps most important of all, there will be irreparable damage to our environment due in most part to fossil fuels and carbon emissions. Unless something changes, and, and that something is replacing fossil fuels with nuclear energy. The first and probably the most obvious reason for switching to nuclear energy is it is a near unlimited amount of energy that can be tapped because the elements required in nuclear fission, the primary way of making nuclear energy, are both plentiful in the earth, with uranium-235 making up about 0.7% of the earth, and can also be made in the lab. It is estimated that there is enough uranium-235 to power the entire world for the next 200 years, and scientists are very close to finding a way to split hydrogen atoms, which is one of the most plentiful elements on Earth, which would give us a near unlimited amount of energy. In addition, just a tiny little bit of uranium-235 can produce huge amounts of energy compared to coal. For example, 1 gram of uranium-235 produces 10 to the 11th power joules. That is an insane amount of energy. And 1 gram of coal releases 20,000 joules. Uranium-235 is 5 million times more efficient than coal or fossil fuels. Another huge benefit of nuclear energy is that it produces virtually no carbon emissions. In the fact that the only carbon emissions the nuclear energy ever produces is when the plant to produce it is being built in itself. It is also much cheaper than many people think it is, with it only costing about a third to half as much to produce the energy from 1 kilogram of uranium as coal. One of the main things that people say when detracting from nuclear power is how dangerous it can be, and there's always the risk of accidents or radiation spreading. However, nuclear energy accidents have only accounted for about 120 confirmed deaths, while the coal kills reports estimates that Indian coal contributes to between 80,000 and 115,000 premature deaths annually. In the United States, coal kills around 13,000 people annually, and 23,000 in Europe. The economic costs of the health impacts from the coal combustion in Europe are valued at about 70 billion US dollars per year. And with 250,600 lives lost per year. In more ways than one, fossil fuels are destroying the world. No matter if you want to look at the literal hundreds of thousands of lives lost each year, or the soon-to-be irreparable damage to our environment, fossil fuels have got to go. And while other sources of renewable energy are fickle and difficult to mass produce, nuclear energy is safe, clean, and a cheap way of producing power.